Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I'll be covering The Savage Sword of Conan, Volume 8, The Dark Horse Essential Edition. It's been a while since my coverage of this series. I did number 7 about 4 months ago, and one of my regular viewers messaged me and said, hey, where's number 8? It has been a while. Got a little sidetracked, but here we are. We made it. This is probably going to be my favorite volume of the entire series. It's 22 volumes. I'm gonna make an effort to more regularly revisit this so I can finish this coverage this year. We'll see how that goes. But this one is really in my wheelhouse because every issue in here from 85 to 93, and that's what this covers, I bought off the rack as a kid, as a 12, 13-year-old kid. This was published in 2010 by Dark Horse. And gorgeous Earl Norem cover to, I think this is issue 90 maybe. And this is a fantastic story too. There's some real bangers right in a row in this one. And we're going to begin with issue 85, which has an interesting Gil Kane, Michael Fleischer, Gil Kane, Danny Bulanati story, and very great Gil Kane layouts here, just phenomenal. Gil Kane is look at this splash page too, chapter 2, really cool. This is going to span 2 issues, I think. I'm not going to linger on this too long, but we are going to just kind of drink in the amazing. I really like this team up of Danny Bulanati and Gil Kane on this. I'm not always a big fan of Gil Kane's Conan, but these Danny Bulanati inks, and I don't think Danny Bulanati could have been at it very long when he got this assignment. But yeah, these Bulanati inks are really doing a number in a good way on these pencils from Gil Kane. Gil Kane, beautiful women. He really does draw beautiful women. She could very easily be Deja Thoris. I do remember Gil Kane did some John Carter of Mars stuff for Marvel's color book of John Carter of Mars. Love this panel here with Conan sort of infiltrating this temple. Look at that statue head. It's the little details that make this. Look at that door knocker there. So great. And we don't get a ton of supernatural in that issue. No monsters, per se. There's a lot of fighting human foes, but there is sorcery afoot. Look at this Gary Quappies pinup. Really great. Very nice. So now we're on to 86. This one has a very interesting art team. Michael Fleischer again writing. Breakdowns by Gil Kane. Additional penciling Luke McDonald. Finishes Zoran Vanjaka. And Zoran Vanjaka is not an artist I know, and I don't think we've seen his name before in any of these volumes. Great Armando Gil pinup there. But I could definitely see some Luke McDonald in these panels. Luke would much later come back and draw some whole issues of Savage Sword himself. I think before he became ensconced at DC, obviously doing Suicide Squad and the Phantom. He had a run before Suicide Squad on Justice League, the Detroit era. But here he is here, combining with Gil Kane, and that seems like that's all Gil Kane there. We get our first supernatural beast. And look at the pathos that Kane puts on that monster's face there. Just gorgeous. This is so classic Gil Kane Conan here with that necklace. And Gil Kane just draws bodies in motion better than most anyone. It's just some of the figure work, the stylings on Conan, I'm just not as big a fan of as other Conan artists that I like. Kane's Conan is always light, though, which is kind of a neat thing, versus the brawnier, thicker Conan we would see from John Buscema and, of course, Ernie Chan. We're going to see quite a bit of those, too, as we move forward. I love, again, the statuary here is really cool. Very D&D-esque. And, of course, we get some sorcery because it wouldn't be Conan without a bit of sorcery. Indeed, why should your men strain themselves unduly now that the hour of their doom is at hand? The supremely confident sorcerer always meets his or her end at the hands of Conan. And how many times have we seen that? The unexpected, Conan hurling his broadsword like a missile, impaling this guy, transfixing him. And how many times have we seen this? Conan gets the girl at the end. Nice, epically illustrated poem by Alan Zelenitz, Line of the Ways, featuring Pablo Marcos artwork. We think of Pablo Marcos mainly as an inker, but man, he's a fabulous penciler too. Did some great work here and there for DC as a penciler. I think an issue or two of Secret Society of Supervillains. We end up with a David Wenzel pinup, very nice. Now we're on to issue 87. The Armor of Zuldathal, and this one is John Buscema breakdowns, Ernie Chan finishes. And this one is great. This guy Darius gets these magical weapons, an enchanted bow, gauntlets of ogre strength, that's what I call them, but they're just basically, they give him superhuman strength. And then this breastplate that makes him invulnerable, essentially. As Conan is leading his warband of Afghulis here. And things start out well for Conan in this story, but they're going to go sideways. At page 136, we get our first ape sighting of the issue. I'm surprised it took 136 pages, but here we are. And it's a snow ape, and a large one, Conan remarks, as he later then impales it with his broadsword right through the mouth. Brutal action. That's what we loved in Savage Sword as a 12, 13-year-old. The color book was cool, but for true doses of Hyborian sex and violence, we came to Savage Sword. Just great. And of course, here's Darius. Little sea monster here. Snow apes, sea monsters. This one's got it all, folks. Conan is about to run afoul here of Darius himself, and he is pretty much beaten nearly to death. And so then we get an interesting period where he's convalescing and recovering with these fishermen. He helps out here. It's a nice little sequence. You could almost see this in a movie, him getting his edge back, bidding them adieu, saying goodbye to his canine friend here, and now he's going to get some revenge. And he's going to face these two guards, and sometimes you don't need to show the action. How many times has Conan taken out two guards? But here he wades into a half dozen or more. They point him to Darius's chambers, where he still has his invulnerable breastplate on. He destroys the magical bow. But now a fight is going to ensue. And how can Conan win against this supernatural might? Well, maybe throw this guy out the window. Love this action here. I'm smashing through that wall. Will that work? No. Wait, of course. What does it matter how far I fall? No object or surface can penetrate the eldritch shield which surrounds me. So he thinks he's invulnerable until Conan once again outmaneuvers him, and he goes into this furnace, and they find, looking in, only the gauntlets remain. We get a great little story here entirely from Ernie Chan, all told in pinups, sort of sequential pinups. Beautiful. And again, Chan, known for his inks, but phenomenal penciler, phenomenal cover artist, very at home in the with the Hyborian stuff, but also really good at superheroes too. And we need look no further than his epic run at inking Sal Buscema on the Hulk. Really great. Nice Pablo Marcos pin-up here. And now, my single favorite issue of Savage Sword of Conan is issue number 88. And here it is. Isle of the Hunter is the story. Look at this Ernie Chan pin-up here. He looks like he's in granite. That's so awesome. Yeah, so this one is John Buscema breakdowns, Rudy Nebres finishes, and it's so lush and beautiful. Al the Hunter. This is basically a variation on The Most Dangerous Game, and we're going to see that here. Conan is sort of manipulated into being drawn into this barroom brawl where he takes a bunch of fellow tavern goers out of action and is promptly arrested by the guards. And he is ordered to be executed because he is a known outlaw. So he was trying to lay low, gets drawn in, exposed, and now they're going to execute him until suddenly, I love this storytelling here, the execution goes awry as the executioner is shot with an arrow by our two pot stirrers from the tavern brawl, these two twin sisters. And they're going to rescue Conan in dramatic fashion. They're quite adept at both archery and swordsmanship. And they free him. And he gets into the action. Great here initially with the ceremonial executioner's blade, and then he switches. But by Crom, I know I could have made my sojourn here a good deal more memorable, if only I'd been doing my fighting with a warrior's sword all this time, instead of with this ritualistic plaything that Deathsman left behind. So he switches to a good tall war here. Then they make good their escape. Love the open panel as Conan hops that horse. And then these ladies are going to tell Conan why they rescued him. Very well, Cimmerian, we'll share the truth with you. The reason my sister and I came to your rescue is that we want your help in plundering the vast treasure trove of Wazir Hassad Khan. Let me say that again. Wazir Hassad Khan, one of the wealthiest men in the world. The Wazir is a miserly recluse, who inhabits an isolated castle stronghold on an uncharted island in the Vilayet Sea. So we're going to get a little bit of nautical stuff. They're going to be pursued, though, by these Turanian guardsmen. So they're not giving up on Conan. They had him in their clutches, and they want him back to face justice. And like I alluded to the violence, well, folks, here comes the sex. And it's pretty amazing, pretty risque. And imagine, me, 13-year-old kid, yeah, my buddies and I, we love this. This was just totally awesome. So, weighty questions these. The Cimmerian will pass the entire night exploring their every facet. So, very cool. And Conan goes back to slow their pursuit by scaring all the horses off, and then they go by boat across the Vilayet Sea. And it wouldn't be a Conan story without some kind of monstrous creature. There are plenty of them in the pages of Savage Sword, and this is a great one. There, Conan. Eyes of Crom. Get behind me, girls, and I'll... No, stay your sword, Cimmerian. She's right, Cimmerian. We've naught to fear from this beast. What? Have you gone mad? Nay, Cimmerian, not mad. The creature guards this isle, and will strike only if the Wazir commands it, by sounding the alarm on a special conch. But are you saying that the Wazir has actually managed to train this behemoth with a conch shell? And he never gets an answer to his question because one of the sisters brains him. And the Wazir has men, and they grab Conan. The sisters turn him over. Soon, slowly, painfully, the barbarian returns to consciousness, the squawking of mating jays in the branches overhead, mingling in his ears with the crunch of leather boots tramping through the underbrush. So quickly, Conan realizes he's being hunted, maybe even herded, through the jungle of this island by these guys who are basically like beaters. Because again, world's most dangerous game is man. He's being hunted by a great huntsman himself. But Conan is no city-bred individual to be caught off guard in the wilderness. He can handle himself here, and we can see that. And slowly but surely, oh, look at that. That's so grim. His traps are winnowing the forces of the Wazir down. Meanwhile, within the brooding castle stronghold that dominates this isle, once again, you've served me well, ladies. They say he's a formidable specimen you've brought me in, and easily worth the 10,000 crowns I'm paying you. As you well know, I've stalked and bagged all the world's great game, beasts in my day, lion, leopard, unicorn, even the great ice bear. And by unicorn, they mean rhinoceros. So here he is right there. Very cool. But when all is said and done, what sort of quarry, however magnificent, can possibly hope to rival the sport provided by a cunning, battle-seasoned man? So, of course, the Wazir has bitten off more than he can chew, and he doesn't quite realize that yet. Meanwhile, another faction has arrived. The Turanians have trailed Conan and the sisters to this isle. So Conan's so smart, showing not only brawn, but brains. Ahoy, Captain, this way, old friend. Conan of Samaria needs your help. Holy Ishtar, did you bludgeons hear that? Aye, the barbarians brought friends with them. The Wazir will have a fit if he hears of this. So he gets the two factions to fight each other, which is great. While he slips away, the Sumerian, meantime, is preoccupied with attaining a pressing goal of his own, revenge. With the feral grace of a stalking panther, he pads soundlessly up the castle steps. And so here he announces himself. So we have hunter and hunted in the same room. So, given his druthers, Conan picks the broadsword. And now they're going to battle. Dirty son of a stinking dog. He looks angry, Sabrina. Most angry, Soroya. Let me first give you a brief lesson in swordsmanship, my friend. It is, what? By Ishtar, your reflexes, they're like lightning. I never, So, you're going to teach me to fight with a sword, are you, insolent swine? Well, by Crom, once I finish with you, you'll be giving instructions in swordcraft at the gates of hell. This is so awesome. This sequence is incredible. The Wazir realizes he's in desperate trouble here. He throws his knife. Conan easily deflects it with his shield. This time he's going to go for this morning star. And look at this incredible open page here. Just the storytelling here is so dynamite. John Buscema is just a master. And his stuff never looked better than when it was finished by Rudy Nebres, in my opinion. And he's shredding Conan's shield here. It seems like he has the upper hand. I shall miss the barbarian when he is gone, won't you, Soroya? Aye, Sabrina. For all his crudeness, he displayed a rough-hewn charm I found most engaging. So they think Conan's dead, but Conan employs his broken shield. Well then, why don't you fall down on your knees to him and plead with him to save you? Crom would as soon spit on me as save me, dog. He helps only those who help themselves. Aye, and oftentimes not even those. It's not possible. Conan just runs him through here. So the sisters think they're going to take Conan on, and he just easily disarms them and grabs them both. Manacles them together. Grabs the conch. Because again, Conan's a thinking man, not just a fighting man. And they're going to make their escape. And Conan is going to use the conch to take care of his guardsmen, pursuers as well, by activating this sea dragon. And it just goes to town on their boat, destroying it. This is incredible. Glub. Really cool. and it's going by there. And the two sisters start fighting with each other. And they end up going overboard. Conan's going to try to help them, but the sea dragon claims them in one gulp. And it has an interesting moment here with Conan. The creature can obliterate him with a single sweep of its jaw. Conan knows that only too well. Why then, it merely stares at him for the briefest of instants, before plummeting to its familiar haunts in the ocean's darkest depths, the Cimmerian cannot say. Really great. What an issue. Nice pinup by Dave Simons. And we get the Dark Stranger once again, a poem with Alan Zelenitz and art by Pablo Marcos in pinups again. And this is a slightly different style than Marcos employed in the previous one we saw earlier, but really nice. Ernie Chan pinup. Gamesman of Ascalon. Bob Larkin cover. This one's Michael Fleischer and all Alfredo Alcala artwork. Really nice. Just such a difference. And I love the difference between this story and the one we just read with Brisema Nebris. Alcala's Conan, the line work is very thick. It's almost, in some ways, charcoal. It's almost like he's using charcoals. And not being an artist myself, there I'm sure things techniques that I'm missing here that are being employed by Alcala to give it this unique look. But it is gorgeous. In all, though, I prefer what we saw in the previous issue, because in some ways this is, for me, just a bit too dark. Alcala is a fine storyteller, though. And it's a great issue. And we get Rite of Blood here with a tale of young Conan. Fighting some Bannermen. Now my second favorite issue, probably of all time, Devourer of Souls. And this is a fantastic Earl Norm cover. We get it in color here on the front, which is gorgeous. And this one's going to introduce a regular Conan nemesis who would return to plague him both in this mag and in the color book. Great Ernie Chan pinup. Look at that. Oh, man. So cool. Script, Michael Fleischer. Art, John Buscema and Nestor Redondo, who we don't get to see enough as a finisher inker in these pages, but man, is he good in this. I love and here he is here. The Devourer of Souls, Woral. Just an awesome character. Conan here has a run-in with him on the battlefield. Conan's acting as a mercenary for this king and these two warring city-states. And the opposing king employs the Devourer of Souls. And just excellent character development. Look, here he is here without his helmet. Totally great. There's a sorcerer involved who is the Devourer of Souls, Loral's accomplice. And Loral has this ability it's incredibly powerful, to transform humans into these worms, which he feeds on for sustenance. Just really great. So Conan, he's a mercenary, but he's also a thief, and he wants to kind of break in to the opposing castle and see if he can do a bit of thievery. But of course, that's mistaken. The two shield maidens witnessed him leaving. They think Conan is betraying them. Me spying, Your Majesty? That's an absurd accusation, and you damned well know it. Here's the proof, Excellency. We found it hidden in his yurt. It's no doubt the payment he received for having betrayed us. That's a lie. So they lock him up in the stockade. Great panel here. Blast. Here we see Ral's just hideous power here as these guards barge in, and he transforms them into these worms, which he then sucks down for sustenance. It's really horrible if you think about it. What a terrible fate to experience. And of course, the king himself is going to face the wrath of Ra. Look at the scale difference between these two. He's just massive and just an otherworldly being in every respect. I could see this character, who would have played him in the 80s? Richard Mall would have been awesome because he was tall. Remember, he played the sorcerer Zusha in The Sword and the Sorcerer? He would have been a great casting for Ra. Just awesome. Sorcerer ally here. Our battle's going to begin again. Of course, he's going to kill the king to get that jewel back. King is courageous if misguided in imprisoning Conan, because that spells his doom. Maybe Conan could have helped him. But, oh, look at this sequence here. He's just manhandling the king's guard. And then he doesn't want to fight them all, so he gets away. Then he's going to lead out with the sorcerer in his chariot. And the battle's about to begin. And of course, the prince or the guy who took over for the deceased king is immediately killed. So things are going really bad. King Savaro slain, Cimmerian, and now Naharon's dead too. Our army's routed, our engines of war reduced to smoke and ash. What in the holy name of Ishtar are we to do? Do? We've got to destroy those scurvy jackals. That's what we've got to do. Well, you two, don't just stand there posing for fountain statuary. Pull out your keys and let me out of here. But the king said, the king is dead, Mora. Oh, blast. What is this anyway? An Amidian debating society? Never mind then, I'll let myself out. It's pretty awesome. So they free him, and this is just incredible. What a panel. This story is just an instant classic. And Conan's gonna rally the men. And of course he's gonna duel with Ural here in a moment, but first he disposes of the sorcerer. There's the jewel. Help me, Ural, help me. I am here, Meldark. I've been injured, Ural, sorely injured. Lift me back into the chariot, Ural. Nay, sorcerer. All I need now is the jewel, not you, and the jewel I have. So save yourself, Meldark, if you can. So here, Conan's going to, once again, instead of just a brief skirmish, he's going to go into a full-on melee with Ural. And he can see that even as powerful as he is, again, awesome page here just of storytelling, pure storytelling. Conan is just soul-singed by this glowing blade, and Ural's just incredible physical power. So Mara and her other shield maiden, they come forward, but Ural fells them. Oh man, so sad. They were very courageous, but it's a wizard who saves Conan, strangely, by activating the worms and sending Ural back to his dimension. But that's not the last we're going to see of him, even though Conan destroys this jewel. Look at that. Awesome pin-up by Chan. This is a great one, too. Number 91. Great Michael Kaluta cover. Awesome Armando Gil. Pin-ups, a Chan pin-up. Forest of Fiends. So this one, chapter 7, Forest of Fiends. 7 is Buscema and Pablo Marcos. So this is nice. This is probably as close to Buscema inking his own pencils as we're going to get when he's not doing it himself. Pablo Marcos's inks are very true to John Buscema's pencils. I'm going to kind of fly here because I know these get long, and I do love going through them, but I gotta stop somewhere, or these videos would go on for over an hour. So I'm going to kind of fly through this last leg of the book, unless I run into something memorable here. And of course, these are all great, but I spent time on my two favorite issues, 88 and 90, in this collection. This is a werewolf tale. This looks like Val Merrick artwork here. Oh no, this is early Gary Quappy. It's really nice. This might have been some of his first Savage Sword work besides the pinups that we saw. Here's some Val Merrick. So we got actually 3 stories in this issue. And once again, Conan never stays in prison long, and the people who put him there generally pay a terrible price. Chapter 8, The Jeweled Bird. This is one of the reasons I love this volume so much is it has these recurring villains, and here we get another one. Captain, I think, Barashok. Oh, and this one's some nice artwork here. Oh, look at this great Jeff Easley pinup. We don't get to see a lot of the D&D artists in here. These are definitely Buscema pencils. But again, they don't often have, so I've got to go back to the table of contents because they don't have the, that's Buscema, Bob Camp, Dave Simons, and Armando Gill. So a host of inkers on this one. I've always been a fan of Bob Camp's inks on Buscema's pencils. I'm going to fly through this one too, even though I love, yeah, see, he's imprisoned by this demon. Man, he hates Conan in the worst way. He wants revenge on him. Look at this giant butterfly, really cool. Barashok steals this demon's weapon and creates a portal and escapes. And pretty much anyone who encounters this guy, he murders them. I mean, he's brutal. Oh no, and here he is. Mistreating these women, just terrible. Not a good person. Oh, I love this long panel here. Conan to the rescue. And this is eventually going to lead to a showdown. Oh yeah, the cat. This is some giant's. It crystallizes his leg and his upper body. So he does kind of get his comeuppance here. We'll see. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's unclear if he actually survives or not. And I'm going to say he does. I think we see him again. Another great Kaluta cover for our last issue. And our last issue is a real treat because we get Rudy Nebres. And I'd love to spend more time on this. Maybe I have the individual issue. So probably what I'll do is I'll do a separate episode with the individual issue because this one has our third recurring villain of the piece of this volume, and it's the Brotherhood of the Falcon. These guys want to kill Conan in the worst way. They're a whole group of assassins, and he keeps showing them up, and they just want him dead. And by pursuing him here, he actually crosses the veil between worlds, and Oh, yeah. Ape men. Do these count as apes? Maybe. They're primitive men. Man, is this art awesome. And so it's like a parallel world where he is in charge of this kingdom and he's a real jerk. So when he's kind to the people around him, as kind as Conan can be, he's gruff, but they realize, the people closest to him realize, oh, this is not actually Conan, but his name isn't Conan in this world. I forget what it is. We're not going to worry about the particulars. We're just going to enjoy this incredible artwork that Buscema and Rudy Nebres deliver here. Conan just wants to get back to his world. And this is Ernie Chan too, actually. So this is so Chan takes over the inks. Konar is the name of the alternate universe Conan. He ends up fighting himself in a crazy scene here. And he winds up back in his own world at the end. Some nice pinups. One last Pablo Marcos illustrated poem. Look at that. Really cool. To finish us off and see us out. Oop, and that's another giant ape or devil ape or something. And that is it, folks. That is Savage Sword of Conan, the Essential Edition, Volume 8 from Dark Horse, published in 2010. What a treat. This is probably, I'm going to say, with only 8 volumes in, I don't think we're going to find a volume that tops this. Maybe. We'll see, because we're going to get 9 through 22 as well. I hope you're with me when I do it. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.